Yeah, Gurmeet, are you ready? Yeah. Hi,
Yes.
good morning, USA, Canada. Good afternoon, England, Europe, Africa. Good evening in Asia Pacific, India, Malaysia, Singapore, Thailand. Welcome to the weekly Saturday series, Women Power, a global movement. I am really honored to have with me this evening a great guest of honor known as Gurmeet Kour. Gurmeet, I call her genuinely unique, rich, motivated, energetic, excited talent who is a financial and gender equality enabler. Gurmeet has over 25 years of experience, has been part of 6 successful startups. Before joining Home Credit India, which was her last assignment, she led and managed consumer risk in consumer finance companies, City Financial India, part of the City Group, Peloton India, Capital First, Bajaj Finance. He started a career being part of the domestic airline startup. Modi looked as cabin crew. Wow. And then she being promoted to chief and was responsible for hiring, grooming, servicing and emergency training for crew and their check flights. Gurmeet has been working in various aspects of business, and she has been to the highest level of board of directors in terms of her caliber and talent. With Home Credit, she started her journey in 2011 as a project consultant. Part of the India team, she was appointed as the head of the anti-fraud risk management. She was instrumental in establishing the anti-fraud risk vertical as per the global standards, helped create a team of very competent professionals to manage the fraud risk. When you look at Gurmeet, she was chosen to create a completely new vertical, ombudsperson with Home Credit. She has been member of the International Association based in US and active member of AP RAC Ombuds body. She is also one of the trustees in Sardar Hari Singh Charitable Trust, which works towards child education and women empowerment. Apart from her functional expertise in consumer risk management and corporate governance, she is globally certified by both Citi as well as Home Credit. Huge experience of working on training in the area of risk management, customer experience, leadership development, last over 1.5 decades, and of course, business etiquette. We need to talk to her about business etiquette, communication, and professional presence. I mean, she has been training people on POSH last couple of years. When you look at her, you will see a lot to do on fraud, behavior, bullying, sexual harassment, financial literacy, leadership training, business etiquettes, personality development, persona development rather, make up for the different occasions. Of course, she is talking about meditation to help fight stress and manage situations. Gurmeet, welcome to our show, Women Power, a global movement, which is 100,000 women on this platform by 2021 and 1 million by 2024, irrespective of caste, creed, color, nationality, and religion around the world, 20 countries. Do you think I'm mad? People call me mad, but I am not. MAD is making a difference. So with that background, today the powerful day when you are with me, Gurmeet, I would like to create a format where I would have some questions for you. And there are people already on Facebook, of course, on Zoom, YouTube, and global television. And they will put up their questions in the Q&A section. I will have some powerful women to ask you questions. I can see Anshul has already joined. She is very powerful women power from Mumbai, director of a business school in Vashi in New Mumbai. I can see Ashok Kumar Tomar Saab already joined. I see Jennifer already joined from Malaysia. She lives in a Sarawak, one of a beautiful place in Malaysia. I have been there for a training, for a conference. I see Shafali Sengal. She is 10S from our Noida. She is, in fact, again part of the women power. Very powerful. Some people call her women with wings. So she is also around, and I can see Facebook people are joining from Thailand. I can see two people from Singapore, and I can see Canada. People are joining. With that background, when I will ask you questions for 30, 35 minutes, and after that, I will give it open to them. On the Zoom, I will ask people to unmute themselves and ask questions. And other platforms, I'll pick up the questions. First of all, Gurmeet, I am really excited to see you there on this show. I know you for quite some time, and I know you are a very passionate trainer. While you have a lot of experience on terms of fraud, sexual harassment, other stuff, but I believe as a human being, when I interact with you, you come across one of a very wonderful power for me. So having said that, I start my question number one. Today we see this tall, beautiful Gurmeet, but this Gurmeet came like all of us, like a child from Gwalior, born and brought up across the country. Gurmeet, how did you spend your time as a child? Were there any issues, challenges as a girl child some 25 years back? And how did you become what you are today?
Well, thank you, DK, for this opportunity. And, when there are people like you, you in the world who are all for gender equality, I do not think uh, this topic would have been discussed so much if all of us thought the same way as humans and evaluated each other on our capabilities and our strengths. We wouldn't be needing these forums. Yeah. But because there's a forum, we need to also identify and establish that, yes, there are gender biases and there are issues which needs to be voiced so that they can be addressed. And all of us are responsible for that. Yeah. So thank you for this forum. Uh, you do have a lot of lovely, powerful women, and I think they all are adding a great value to getting this movement going across. Uh, so I'm one small bit in this entire ocean. Uh, However, I think all of us, one small bit, then creates that ocean, which becomes extremely powerful. Yeah. Uh, so thank you for this. So quickly, I had a normal childhood. I was born to parents who came from two villages in Punjab, in Ludhiana, and dad had joined Air Force because he wanted to do something completely different. And my mom, being the youngest of three brothers, came from an extremely protective background and decided to marry my dad for being a completely different personality who wanted to stand on his own feet. So I'm a forces daughter. So I was brought up in an environment where I don't think I ever had to think about that I'm a girl. Yeah. So when people ask me how was your childhood as a girl, I really sometimes have to think hard and say, uh, what is it? How was it? And I feel it was an absolutely normal childhood where we were not brought up as a son and daughter. We were brought up as children. Yeah, and that's very important. The second part is that I think I was a born rebel, and I was more of a stronger personality, and I would be rather bullying the guys, and that's what my dad would say. You are bullying the boys, and their parents are coming and complaining home. So my story has been pretty much kind of normal, uh, born without any biases. I think we were more pampered, and sometimes, I'll tell, if by chance I'll tell my mom you're favoring the brother, and then they'll say, no, 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 this statement is just not correct. I think you're more pampered than him. So normal childhood, and I think that laid the foundation for what I am today and how I progressed in the journey of my life.
Beautiful.
Uh, so
Beautiful statement, as you say, and I can see Manorama Bakshi, another very powerful women power, and she does a lot of work for United Nations, and she's part of the Tata's company in India, and she's always looking at some people. She keeps on questioning me, downtrodden people, villages. She says, I want to go to Africa and work in villages. I want to go to India, work in India, I want to work in villages. Welcome Manorma Bakshi also, very profound. I had a 2 hour meeting today with her, and meeting her was pleasure. Gurmeet, when you say, and you're saying that you were like a rebel when you were being brought up, and you said that you did not feel that you were being brought up as a girl child. You were being brought up as a child. You're very lucky. You're very fortunate, which is not normally the case with
true.
99% of the women. You are among 1% or 2% or 3% or maximum 5%. I'm talking a scenario where we are talking about countries like us, India or Asia Pacific. I'm not talking about Western world, but Western world also, things are like that. Who was the person who impacted you? Your mom, your dad? What was done differently by them to make you to go and grow and grow?
So I think my biggest influence came from my father. Yeah. He was a super specialized helicopter engineer. He is somebody who really worked hard, coming from the village, where we typically feel that villages are fundamentally more conservative, which is a statement that I typically do not agree. When I look at my parents and how they kind of brought us up, which means that these general statements don't hold good. It is it is it is important to kind of look back into that and also change that it has got nothing to do with the place that you come in from. It is about a mindset. So the biggest influence from dad came in form of always trying to make us self sufficient. One of the biggest key a key point that he was bringing us up, one of the key things he says, hey, listen, education is very important, and all daughters should get educated because they need to stand on their own feet. It's important not to have a forced dependency. He being a man, telling that I don't think any daughter should be dependent financially on a man, sets the tone for your freedom. So that was rule number one. Rule number two, uh, he says having self respect and standing for yourself is very important. Standing for yourself is not equal to putting the other person down or putting another gender down. Standing for yourself means that you need to identify what is your need, and that need is for your self development and your movement towards your goal. It is not the need to be putting the other person down. because in the world, when you have to create an environment of progress and create an environment of mutual respect, it is very important to start focusing on your goal rather than looking at what other people are achieving and trying to put them down, trying to show that you are one above them. It's not one above them. It is about what's your goal. So my daughters should be able to hold their head high. My daughter should have the freedom of deciding what they want to eat, what they want to wear, and when and where they want to travel. My daughter should have freedom to choose whether she wants to get married or she doesn't even want to get married. You
Ah,
know, and it was not just for me as a daughter. It was for all the daughters in the family and in the friend's family. So he may not ask so many of these questions about what you boys are doing. He would say, "You boys are meant to do that. You are supposed to do." Yeah. But what is my girl doing?
wow.
Why wouldn't she get out and be economically independent? I think that set the tone. And my mom supported him through and through. My mom said, go ahead, do it. She would be like that. Uh, this is what you want to do. Go ahead. Who's stopping you? And I think that opens a lot of doors because you start thinking it empowers you. So it was easier to go back and tell them, this is what I want to do. And of course, it doesn't mean that every time that view was accepted. And that's where my being a rebel also comes in.
Mhm.
So I also made certain mistakes, and then you learn. Those are your experiences in life. So it's been primarily my dad. Yes.
And normally it's seen that, dad has an impact on the daughters, and mom has an impact on the sons. It's always said that. Unfortunately, I don't have a daughter, so I don't probably have an impact on my sons, but I love them. And what I'm trying to talk here is, Gurmeet, my next question. Uh, you know, you are today a very well known name on financial capability enabler, and you are supporting and guiding, mentoring, coaching, hand holding people on gender equality, where people talk to you as a gender equality enabler. How did it happen in your life? Because both, when I see gender equality and when I see financial capability, and as a woman, and I give a lot of importance as a woman to have the freedom for financial capability. And in case women is financially capable, I think there will be many issues of gender equality which will go away because she will have much more confidence. She will have much more, she will feel much more empowered. What normally happens is when a woman is not, is depending on a man folk on the finances, she becomes weak, whereas women is not weak. So how did this happen in your life that you choose to contribute on this gender equality enablement as well as financial capability enablement? How's your experience on this? And how did it, first tell me, how did it happen? And what's your experience on
Mhm.
this?
I think it was a very natural kind of progression, DK. Uh, because anyway, from the beginning in the household, it was very clear that, you have to be self-sufficient. So my professional journey began as early as 21 years of my life. And then there was no looking back because one of the key things, which the family believed is that women can contribute to the overall economic growth of a country, and also adding value to the society and the communities that you kind of stay in. And you need to get out to add that particular value. So my professional journey, and I think I had been also kind of blessed, and I had been thinking about it. uh, I think one of the key things that helped me not face situations of gender bias comes from two things. One is my own self-confidence and a lot of self-respect to myself.
Wow.
Uh, the second part is that I had been a very willing learner. So professionally, I changed professions, and a lot of people say, from flying, then to finance, to risk management, then to ombudsperson. I think they are just the roles that you play. So if you have common sense and logic, and if you have the zeal to go ahead in life, I don't think we should be limiting ourselves to one particular designation or a role. So I was learning and learning and learning. And what learning does to you is that when you start making conversation, this conversation is very knowledge driven rather than gender driven. So when I became part of the senior management team, and when I'm sitting in the boardroom with 10 men and I'm the only female, I never felt out of place because that particular forum is the discussion on business objectives. So if I put across a point and that point is getting shot down, or if I'm being asked questions, I had been able to be objective about it because it's not targeted at me. It's targeted at the role that I am executing at that point of time. I think that has been the second learning over a period of time, that we have to stop looking at every conversation that happens in the boardroom or in a meeting room with the gender lens on your eyes. Sometimes it's also very important to separate the gender sensitivity from the towards the main business objective, and that really helped me. And I did not encounter uh, a differentiation just because I'm a woman and I'm making a point. So I think this is also a key takeaway I try to give to most of the women. You know, self-respect and self-confidence
Wow.
is very important. Yeah. So over 26 to 27 years, when we talk about this gender equality ambassador and financial, uh, it was never meant to be only for women. Yeah. So my gender equality journey actually has been for both the genders in the
Wow.
office. Yeah. So today, when I would be taking sessions around, let's say, prevention of sexual harassment at workplace, uh, the entire audience is going to be 60% men and 40% females. So I never did a session which said that, okay, I need to do it for women separately and for men separately, because I think gender equality is not a woman's issue. Gender
Absolutely.
equality is a mindset issue, and the mindset is about how mindful are we about each other to create a collaborative and respectful environment socially and at the workplace. And we may empower women and the girl child, and that we need to do so that they get their self-respect and confidence. But we also need to kind of guide and educate men on how they need to be mindful, because it's a mindful coexistence. So that is how it happens naturally. I was always a keen learner. I always like new challenges. I love to kind of train and pass on the knowledge that I have gathered. I love to learn from experiences, because I think trainings is a wonderful playground even to enrich yourself. Yeah. So there are multiple experiences coming in. So it's been like just a journey, DK. So I can't like put a point in time to say that, oh, this is from where I kind of diversified. This is me. These all are part of me. So,
Yeah.
so I
Related to this, I take another question here. When you are doing together with men and women, how do you get the response from the men?
Beautiful. It's beautiful. I mean, uh, so two or three things happen. One, they feel so men don't feel kind of sidelined. They
Wow.
feel part of the mainstream, and they feel equally empowered to fight the issue that is existing. So they also they feel equal partners in our journey to create a great workplace.
That's awesome.
Second, they also feel that, because they are participating, it is also telling them that, uh, it is not a biased organization or it's not a biased structure. Because when we sit down and we talk about behaviors that can lead to sexual harassment, there we are also sitting and talking about saying that, hey, listen, the false complaints does not, they can also be false complaints. So we tell ladies that you also need to be careful, before you kind of raise a concern, because there would be an confidential and a neutral investigation that will happen, and the other party will get an equal chance to put the case forward. So they really, my journey with Home Credit on this has been extremely positive, where they commit, they pledge that we would help create a workplace where each of us are feeling safe and comfortable. And I think we should include, the inclusivity is a wonderful, wonderful, I think, enabler for any change.
I strongly believe what you say. This inclusive enabler is a game changer in terms of really diluting the effect and making impactful in terms of women, gender equality and respectability and empowerment movement. Gurmeet, when I look at you and you worked for Modi Luft as an beginning of the crew, and then you started training, and then you went to various companies. Men dominated. They say, oh, this industry is men dominated. Most of the corporate houses are men dominated. Professionally, did you have such a situation where they were men dominated and, you had an issue with people? They did not allow you to grow. They did not allow you to get opportunities. What kind of a personality you were in terms of which I understand and know that you have had a lot of guts and you said, I bully others. You had a lot of, at the same time, you were grounded completely because of your dad's discipline given to you, and you could make people could make guess what next from Gurmeet. How has that journey been?
Uh,
It's very important for us to know and for the audience. How did you overcome those challenges? You were a fighter. At the same time, I would like to combine what is your motivational fit of yourself?
hmm. So the motivational fit is very simple. I need to be able to contribute to the society that I live in. And that contribution has to come by me being able to take care of myself, and then being able to, enable people directly or indirectly to take care of themselves and the society. I'm a self motivator. I am. I think the maximum that I do typically when things don't go right sometimes, and they don't because this is life. I'll sulk for a night, I think. But in the next day in the morning, I get up, I have my shower, I do wear my red lipstick. And I think the lipstick and that shower does magic. And I said, oh, it's a new day. And let me just reflect back as to what did not go right and what is it that we are going to change. It's been a journey. So that's my motivation. And I think till the time you're alive, you need to kind of give life more importance than the situations, because situation is doesn't define you. Situations will keep on happening in life, right? The second thing is, what worked is that if you start looking at things as a challenge, then you start, if everything you start looking at as a challenge, I think you also kind of waste a little more energy to fight it. But if you live it, saying this is going to be part of life, then you're also handling it in a very normal way.
True.
And so you don't waste too much of energies on, so you have to define what is a challenge. Like for me, what would be a challenge? For me, rock climbing would be a challenge. Yeah. I'm just telling from a physical fitness. I see people, and that's one of the key things. And I know I have to build my strength, my stamina, my endurance to be able to do that particular thing. That's a challenge. And then I say, okay, I want to do that in next 60 days. I take the challenge and I start working towards it.
Huh?
Uh, but in the office, we were meeting because we were expecting a solution, and it didn't happen. That's not a challenge. That is like, okay, what do we need to change? Okay, let's come back to the drawing board and say what's the objective and what we want to achieve. So I think everything is not a challenge. A lot of it is part of living life. That's the second part. Third part, and DK, I had been blessed uh, because I was confident about what I can learn, and I was not scared of learning new things, and also picking up the challenges and accepting that I don't know, I would like to know. A lot of men supported me in this journey. So a lot of support came from men. So even though financial services were male dominated, I never had to think about it. Was it male dominated? I was just thinking about it. Like they would say that you one are equal to 10 men. So with there were few of us, they said, you guys are like. So I think it's a lot to do also with, we can't be blaming men all the time in general. And yes, having said that doesn't mean the problems don't exist. I have seen it personally as being an ombudsperson. The problems of quid pro quo, the problems of bullying, and problems in harassment, problems of undue display of power, problems exist. Uh, However, we will also, if we want to resolve these problems, like I said, we have to collaborate. And so we cannot kind of systematically say men hater, you know, female and empowerment is not hating men. Female empowerment is to say, look at those guys who are an advocate of female empowerment, like yourself. And how do we leverage on them to make the change in other men to come to that same platform and accept equality? So yes, it's been a journey. And by staying very objective and relevant in the workplace, yet accepting your individuality. Like I never had to dress up in a shirt and a trouser for an interview just because my interview was going to be with three men. I would go wearing my dress or my sari because that's me. And as a woman, I can carry that well. So, and I think you get respected for it. Um, that's my that's how I felt.
Fantastic, Gurmeet. I think you have really given some of the thoughts which are very important for women to take it forward and live by that, because women is very powerful, very sensitive at the same time, but has an individuality of being the best. Gurmeet, my second question goes to you. The next question. When we look at COVID, it has really created a lot of issues, especially to women from all the backgrounds. Look at housewives, they're frustrated because the kids, the husband, everybody at home. Look at corporate managers who are working in the corporate houses or teachers. They're themselves struggling on work from home. Look at even the supervisory staff. Again, they had a lot of issues in the beginning on the technology front. Now, most of the people have learned it. And at home, when you have grandparents, when you have parents, mother in laws, father in laws, partners, and it's very, the cope ability is becoming tough. Do you have during COVID some of the examples to share where you helped some women to come out of this tough, difficult circumstances of a lifetime? Because I don't know when we will get AC after COVID. We are in DC during COVID, and BC has been a history. Have you have some examples during this period, last 7, 8 months? Can you share with us, which can help many women
Um,
more?
So I can think about two or three kind of such examples. One has been part of my own office fraternity, where there are women with young children, or women who are staying with their in-laws, and with husband working from home and self working from home with no help coming in. I think I saw how the COVID journey happened. So the first 15 days, or 15 days to about 3 weeks, was fairly exciting for everybody. They're cooking new stuff. They're saying, oh, working from home, experimenting. A lot of food happened, and spending now time with children, being able to sleep for like 1 hour extra, not having to travel 1.5 hours one way. Uh, so 15, 18 days kind of went well, and then the morale started to go down. And the females kind of came up with two or three key things. One is that they have been extremely tired and fatigued, uh, with the housework, with having to look to meet the demands of different family members, and then also the office work, which in these circumstances has not been easy, because face to face communication is very different than trying to resolve certain things on the phone. So there we kind of set one of the routines for ourselves during the day. So we said, okay, you know what, all of us would try and get up on our regular times. That 6:30 to 7:30 should be your time, and that your time is very important. You do your meditation, you want to go on your terrace and walk, you want to stretch yourself, you just want to sit in a corner and listen to something. But I think it's very important to give yourself that 1 hour in the day. The second thing that we kind of put in place is that, as a discipline, which we will not have calls beyond this hour. So this is something you have to set, because you need to kind of de-stress yourself. So putting some kind of a routine there, it is helpful. The third thing is, we understood that, as women in India, especially, I can only talk about women in India, we always want to be superwoman. I will do jhadu, I will do the utensils, and I will have to cook, and I need to look. We are so used to kind of trying to prove, I think, to ourselves and to our fraternity, that we forget in the bargain that we are also human beings and there are limitations. So asking for help has never been easy. We assume my husband should understand, we assume my in-laws should understand. And then we started discussing. I said, what's the harm in asking? I said, for me, I feel men are conditioned very differently. If you tell them, I need help and I need you to do this, I don't think any man is going to say, I'm not going to do it. But if you expect them that they're watching the TV and they need to look at you and say what you're going through or what you need next, I think it's very difficult. Yeah. I said, okay, let's start asking for help. I think that third thing really worked. It also opened communication. I think asking is important. I need help. I need support. I need you to today. I cannot cook because I don't want to cook. Yeah. It's very important. So they started asking, and things started to get better, because they started getting a little more of their time. It's important on. And then the second example I can think about is with our maids. uh, I think the maids faced a little more challenge because of some domestic abuse, also because of the drinking issue. And so they would kind of, so we made sure that we are talking to them on the phone regularly, and we also kind of spoke to their husbands. Yeah. And we were supporting them, of course, throughout the COVID period with the money that they needed. And more than the money, then we said that, okay, rather than giving you so much money in hand, which your husband can, spend in drinking, we were helping them with their regular use stuff. So, they said, okay, give us things and don't try to give us so much of money. So that was the second thing. And we made sure we keep on talking. I think talking helps, So they were laughing, we're laughing on the phone. What's happening? Do you need something? Uh, and then one of the ladies said, just talk to my husband once. And I just spoke to him. And then he said, nahi, nahi, Didi, I'll take care. So, having that kind of a support system behind that, there's somebody just to listen. Sometimes you don't need solutions. You just need somebody who's listening to you. So these are the two things that I can think about. And I was playing a lot of badminton with my nephew and niece, uh,
Ah,
you know, and we were looking, and all the neighbors would come out in their balcony because they're all old, because there was noise coming from down. So that was also one reason we continued to play, so that these guys who are staying alone can come out during that time. And then we all are making conversations from our own balconies. So that ways, there was a little more energy in our in our block. So that's what I think we did.
you touched a very important point is when you listen to people, most of the problems get solved. Unfortunately, in life, we don't listen. Before we listen, we start talking. And when we don't listen, communication is not complete. Communication skills are listening more, responding with empathy, and that's a fact. Probably people may not need that much of support, but the moment you start hearing those stories, issues, challenges, and you are in a mode of waiting and listening, and in between the person says, hey, are you listening? See, मैं तो आपकी बात सुनता हूं, I am listening to you only. That gives a lot of leverage to you, and people become closer to you. Most of the issues in life are only because of communication, less communication, no communication, withdrawal of communication, or extra communication, or not right communication. It's between the partners. And I'm not talking about partners as husband and wife only. I'm talking about partners who are, colleagues. If you have a partner, female partner as a colleague in your company, subordinate or boss, great. I'm enjoying, but we need to move with the time. And Gurmeet, now let me come to the main subject now. I heard you a lot. I think we got some fairly a great idea from you. We have this movement called Women Power, a global movement. As I said in the beginning, that's where we are still right now. I am certainly declared as one of the honorable women on this entire concept. What is women empowerment for, Gurmeet? What do you mean by women empowerment? What do you tell the women around of all categories who are listening to you now or who are going to be listening to you later on, because these videos keep on going forward, backward, again and again? What does that mean? What is women empowerment? Is there need of having a women empowerment? Is there issues? Is there challenges? As Gurmeet, women empowerment.
Uh, so women empowerment for me means being able to make my own decisions.
Ah,
Yeah, and that I think creates empowerment. Now, like you said, that we have the gender biases in the society. That is, even though we have got umpteen number of laws and guidelines around equality, and however, traditionally some of the biases are so deep rooted, and that it takes time to break those shackles, and that can only be done by men and women coming forward, and which entails that if you have to access opportunities that are available to a woman without limitation and restrictions, uh, that is empowerment. I mean, they should be able to access these opportunities without any limitations. And in order for us to do that, I mean, I think education is primary.
Wow.
Second, raising awareness is the second part. Third, having financial literacy
Beautiful.
is the third part. And of course, training yourself and your training yourself and other women around how to defend themselves. uh, I think self-defense is self-defense is needed when your society is very, very kind of fragmented,
Wow.
where societies are more gender equal. You don't need so much of a need of self-defense. So of course, training women how to take care of themselves, emotionally and physically. I think these are four or five things that I feel can make a difference and empower women to start contributing in the society, in the economy of the country, in the political space of the country. And we do have some very influential leaders, female leaders, and we are also one of the biggest democracies in the world. In 2019, we had the maximum number of members of parliament across the globe. So I think we are moving in the right direction. Even when I look at my niece being brought up at home, my nephew and niece, and the openness of communication and the openness of discussion about each and everything which we thought was taboo as a woman, ya bolna nahi chahiye, the man should not come to, I mean, these are now dining table discussions, and they are discussed with so much of ease. It feels beautiful because you're moving away from that particular thing about girl or boy, and you're saying human being. We're a member of the family and we're talking. So I think we are taking those baby steps where the dads are telling their daughters about the periods and educating them, where the dads are encouraging the daughters to go ahead and participate in all the sports which earlier was thought is a man's domain. So I think a lot of things are also moving in the right direction. Yeah.
So a lot of things are moving, but still there's a lot of gap and there's an unending process of taking it forward. And I wanted to take an assurance from you that when we are talking about women power, a global movement, and we have a plan of storytelling till December 2021, all these women who are associated with me do a lot of great work. This Anshul is a mad lady in Mumbai. She does a lot of great work on this. She's passionate 24 by 7. Similarly, when I have Chef Ali Single in Noida, Women with Wings, all these women will get connected to you and they will ask you, come on, Gurmeet, support us. Are you ready to support this movement?
Of course. And I told you, I think there are a few areas where I can definitely participate. It is one about raising awareness. It is about the sexual harassment, at home, at workplace. Then financial literacy, of course, is a piece that I'm really passionate about, and I think everybody should learn how to manage their finances. And of course, and another thing that I can help with is that I'm a great listener and I'm a great learner. So tomorrow, if DK, you are starting something new and you need my help, and just give a shout, and
Wow.
I would definitely be there.
I am really grateful to you, Gurmeet, for your commitment to support this movement. And in the meanwhile, now I go to the questions, and I have some questions coming in. I have Sarifa Alanto Yons. I think she's from Australia. How she's asking a question. How do you keep your energy level when you are surrounded by cynical people around you? This is the question from Sarifa Alanto Yonis from Australia. In fact, I think in mid-November, she is a speaker at this forum. Yes, Gurmeet, this is the question.
Oh, cynical people. So how do I keep my energy up? I start thinking about all the other people who are not cynical.
Huh?
Yeah. And when I look at these, so Over the years, of course, my behavior has evolved and I handle it much better now. So with cynical peoples, I don't have to, those are the people with whom I really go quiet. These are the people I don't think I really need to waste my energies and trying to explain what something stand for. So I try to leave them a little alone. So, that indifference really hurts them. Uh, okay, I looked at you, I heard you, you made your point. Thank you so much. Do I really need to react to it? I think I don't have to. Those are the people with whom I really go quiet. Yeah, I go really quiet. I don't think I really need to waste my energies and trying to explain what something stand for. So I try to leave them a little alone. So, that indifference really hurts them.
Yeah. I think I was trying to find out questions and there was double video going on. Yeah. Go ahead. I'm looking at the questions there. Yes, please.
Yeah, so that is one of the tricks that I play with the cynicals.
Okay.
And the second thing is that I try to also kind of separate personalities and from the issue that's being discussed, and
Mhm.
I try to focus on the issue at hand or the discussion point rather than the personality. So once you also kind of separate that, you also become little less sensitive. Otherwise the emotions run more high and dry because we are focusing more on personalities than the issue. And that is a big learning for me. If we want to keep effective communications and if we want to keep relationships going the right way, is to start focusing on what is being said rather than who's saying it.
Wow.
So that's my second trick, this sleeve of
In fact,
handling these people.
Sarifa is saying thank you so much. This is a beautiful way of handling those cynical people.
Thank
Sarifa,
you.
thank you so much. Look forward of catching up with you on this program in mid. I don't remember which date it is, but I know it's in November itself. Thank you for being here. And Vinod Trisal, I see, is saying, wow. And Milani from Spain is already there saying, great women power. I am not able to pick up questions from there. In the meanwhile, let me go to the Zoom. Is there any questions here from Zoom? Raise your hands and then I can go for questions. We have another 7 minutes to go. We have already crossed 55 minutes. Let me know who has a question for Gurmeet. Anybody? Anshul is here. Anshul has a question. Anshul, I am going to unmute you and you can ask the question yourself.
Yeah, good evening. Good evening, Mr. Bakshi. Good evening, Gurmeet. And it was really nice, listening your opinion about gender equality. But my question is, in a little different way. While talking about gender equality, you talk about only two gender here. And in very briefly, you covered up gender inclusiveness also. So my point here is, see, so many, third gender now it is even by government of India it is a legality. But my question is, in a little different way. While talking about gender equality, you talk about only two gender here, and in
I don't
very
know, something happened. I'm hearing only my voice back.
inclusive. Can I continue with my question?
Yeah, go
Yes,
ahead.
please.
Yeah. So when my question actually was like about this third gender. So is still like so many people in urban areas, in corporates, we are so educated, so open minded, but still while interacting with the third gender or while hiring these people in corporates, I think we are still very reluctant and have so many reservations and limitations. So what would be your say on this, like how we can develop a country or maybe a nation or society wherein even these people are part of the corporates or maybe the organizations wherein they are also being treated equally.
Uh, yeah. So apologies. I have been, we've been really focusing only on the male and female part of it. And however, I am kind of a very gender agnostic person personally. So, and when I say that, because having worked for global companies and also been part of Modi Luft and then Lufthansa, where almost 30% of the cabin crew is in the others category, and then being part of Citigroup and then now International Ombuds Association. And when I go and visit these forums, we do have about 20 to 30% participation of people of other gender. And I think it doesn't really bother because if you respect people for people and for their capabilities, that is something that you really don't think about. Like, so that's me, very personal. But I'm hearing you, Anshul, that in our country there is a huge amount of stigma that has been attached to the other gender, and because
Exactly.
of which loads and loads of people don't even come out with this issue. So I think this movement is becoming a social movement where more and more people of this younger generation are coming forward and say, hey, listen, I have the right to live and I have the right to choose what I want to be, and who am I, and I need to be accepted. And I think that's a wonderful start, because you are standing up for, the person is standing up for themselves. The second thing is, with the law coming in place now, and it is in support of saying that we would be gender agnostic, that puts kind of a legal framework in place where you can be penalized if you discriminate. Now comes as the third part, where organizations are concerned. I think because we never thought about it, we are yet not completely prepared for them. And preparation means as small as which washroom to be used. Now, when these people have to go and use these washrooms, how do we kind of make sure that they are not ridiculed, or they are not separated because, oh, that's another gender. So one part is about how do you create sensitivities, so which needs to be through training and awareness. The second is your recruitment policy needs to open to making it gender agnostic, uh, which is very important. I mean, I will hire you for the capability and the skill set that you bring to me, rather than a gender. That is the second important thing. The third thing is that we have to also prepare our infrastructure to include all the people. And let's face it, I mean, when we talk about inclusiveness, it is also about a physical disability. For example, a guy who had polio and cannot walk, but then he can come and definitely be part of my call center. But am I ready with the ramp? Do I have the entire infrastructure that can support people with certain disabilities, or special people, for them to also come and contribute? So this is going to be a systematic change, and it has to be led by all of us. That's the only thing I can say, because it is not somebody else's responsibility. So if it is my organization, then I'm equally responsible to create that environment.
Great.
Yeah, that's great. That really, I think, wonderful thoughts, Gurmeet. Thank you so much. But one thing, like, this is my personal, some initiative that I want to do something for these people, but somewhere, see, I cannot invest from my own pocket, but I'm looking forward for some support wherein we can, develop a platform wherein these people can come and share their problems. Because so far, what is happening, they have their own kind of connect or closet units wherein they are dealing only with those kind of people, so they have some kind of limitations. So somewhere we need to open up a channel for these people wherein they can come out and discuss with normal people. So far they are doing it only within their kind of people.
Yeah.
So if there is any such organization that can help in my this thought, so please just let me know, and maybe you can let Mr. Bakshi know, and we can get connected
Yeah, you can
from
take
there.
it
Yeah,
directly.
yeah, sure, Anshul. And I think that's also a very great idea, because we tend to stick to each other because of the safety and the security that Cocoon provides us, right? Because we all are alike in some way. And however,
Exactly.
if we have to get them into the mainstream, then we have to create the interaction with the normal versus, normal one versus normal two.
True.
So, and that integration is important because when you sit across from each other on the table, you suddenly start realizing that we all have the same, same emotions, and we think similar, and we have the same capabilities. And I think that wall needs to be broken.
Absolutely.
So,
Beautiful. Thank you, Anshul.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much.
Manorama Bakshi, you have a question. Please, I am unmuting you.
Hello, can you hear me, sir?
Yeah, Manorama, please go ahead.
Hi, a very good evening, Gurmeet and DK. Hi, nice to
hello.
speak to you. I think, Gurmeet, I'm speaking to you after a long, long time. I should say that more than 2 decades now. Yeah. And actually, my question is, it's wonderful hearing you, especially the kind of motivational talk you gave about women. But my experience is a bit very different because, I have been going to 184 high priority districts with a lot of maternal mortality, infant mortality, fertility issues, abortion issues coming up. I have been working on RM and CHA across 184 districts, and I had the, you can say, privilege or to go to these districts and to talk to these and speak to these women very closely. So I'm sharing one of my experiences wherein I was in Rajasthan, in Jaisalmer area. And when I spoke to women, it was a casual remark. I said, हम सब औरतों की कहानी एक जैसी है. मतलब हमें घर का काम भी करना है और बाहर भी करना है. This was my simple sentence which I spoke to women when I was talking to Ashas and ANMs and those kind of. एंड एक औरत उसमें उठी एंड व्हाट शी सेड, उसने कहा नहीं मैडम जी, हम सब औरतों की कहानी सेम नहीं है. सुबह उठ के मुझे कम से कम 2 घंटे चलना पड़ता पानी लाने के लिए, जबकि आपको वो सब नहीं करना पड़ता है. Probably she was not knowing my story, which is also not anything less than that, because the way we drive down and the way we cook and the way we run and everything, and try to, the way you said that we try to be best in everything, women. Now the question to you is, you spoke a lot about, like, it was a fantastic motivational speech. But if I will look it from the lens of the actual India, which is 70% or 60% still in remote villages, wherein, like, you can say, take example of Kalahandi in Odisha or Mankapandi in Odisha or Dindori in MP, wherein you have actual challenges, wherein ek aurat ko aaj ki date mein bhi, you can say 4 men, she has to go on human court to go to a PSC or sub-center. So mera question is waqt hai, when we talk about these high, talks in power, corridors of power, while as actually the women force, women labor workforce is shrinking. We have, in last decade, we have reduced from 33% to 23% when it comes to the labor force participation. And the main cause, जो एक एनजीओ ने मुंबई से उसका देखा था, the main cause was that women were fed up because of disparities on wages, because they had to do the household chores, because they had to try to be that perfect thing, and at work also, like, they were not paid equal, respected equal, getting the right kind of opportunities. So what you have been talking is absolutely fantastic when we see from the metro lens, but when you see from different lens, wherein there are lot of disparities. I mean, World Economic Forum, if you will see, India ranks 108th. Or if you will talk about the G20 countries, I mean, we are ranking so low. I think Saudi Arabia is the only country which is lower than us. So these are the challenges. And these challenges, Gurmeet, you just let me know, like, for example, how we will bridge the gap. I'm not only talking about metro things and gender violence, Gurmeet. Gender violence, we don't raise this issue. But Gurmeet, to be frank enough, gender violence is as much evident in metros and other places as much it is in villages. Village में वो दारू पी के कर लेता है, यहाँ पे कुछ और होता है.
Good.
There is verbal abuse, there is sexual abuse, and there are so many abuses. So you let me know how. I mean, when you are in talking to corporates, that is one thing. But how we are going to change India's scenario? how we will bring in equity and inclusiveness in actual terms. And wonderful, you spoke about the lady prior to me spoke about the LGBTQ rights and all that. And post Article 377, Government of India is, at least we have to a very large extent, we have been talking on these issues. So that is something very much encouraging. Yeah, now over to you, Gurmeet.
So Manorma, oh my God, I just suddenly feel like or on an yeah, sorry.
This is a big question, so brief and quick and short because we need to.
Yes. See, one thing is that I think this particular forum where DK invited, it was more to share the personal experiences. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I kind of restricted to that, and I also acknowledge that this is not a rosy picture. We do have our struggles in the in the cities and even in the villages, and I think it is not going to be one person's task to be able to resolve all the issues. It is of a society as a whole.
Absolutely.
Now, where do I fit in that particular society and how much I can contribute? I may not be able to eradicate the suffering of everybody. And I think this is just not humanly possible for each of us. We can feel that particular pain. But yes, tomorrow, if DK and you want my contribution in a movement that you would like to run, whether it's rural or whether it's urban, and in my personal capacity, uh, whatever that I can contribute, I would come and participate. There are multiple things that needs to be done, and it has to be done at multiple level, and where we can drive a change. And if you need my participation there, Manorma, of course, now that I'm getting associated with the DK's movement, we can definitely discuss offline and think about where we can create some difference.
So one day I will have Manorma, you and me together, three of us stick together, because I tell you, Manu has got so many ideas and she has been herself propagating on behalf of United Nations, on behalf of Tata. She's at various places talking about it. She's absolutely right. She's very passionate about helping the rural women. Let's sit together. Let's work out something. Let's do whatever contribution we can do together. We cannot change the entire world. But these programs multiply, 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 hammer, hammer, hammer every day will add to that change. Manorba, am I right?
Absolutely, sir. And
Yeah.
thanks, Gurmeet. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So
Thank you.
I'm going to close this program in any case, and I'm thankful to Dr. Dalip Mottu. He is again a very JK Vichar Munch, which is idea generation, developing talent. I'm thankful to Jennifer from Sarawak, who's joined from Malaysia. I'm thankful to Tarandeep. She does wonderful work at Hotels Club, and I was there just before this program, and for joining and being with us. And of course, now I would request, I can't take more questions because we are already exceeded the time, but I have this wonderful lady from Noida, 10 as we call her, Shefali Sengal. She is a woman with wings. She is going to propose vote of thanks. I unmute you, Shefali. Shefali? Well,
Am I audible?
yes, you are.
Great. Thank you so much, Gurmeet, and thank you so much, Bakshi sir, for this enlightening session. I am so much empowered by listening to your journey, your story. You very well narrated, when at the beginning, the girls are narrated, nurtured properly by both the parents. Uh, you are well brought up, and our teachings, our education, take us to an entirely different level. So first of all, thank you so much, Bakshi sir, for pulling me to attend today's session. I had a lot of learnings for myself. Even I am into women empowerment. I am a part of your cause. And, the insights which Gurmeet ma'am today gave us, this is honestly going going to help lot many women. I am very sure, ma'am. So a lot of women, watching you Facebook Live, how much you have empowered them. Uh, while listening to your session, a very common saying came to my mind: educate a man and you educate an individual, educate a woman and you educate a family. So that's why your session enlightens all of us, and the perfect example which you gave us, that I can take my decisions, I should be allowed to take my decisions. So I think if every woman has that power in herself, that she can stand for herself, take her decisions, that is where beauty and brains come together, and you are a perfect example for that. So thank you so much. Thank you so much again and again for this wonderful session, and we are very delighted to have you here. Sir, just a request. You already had a commitment from her that in case she can take more sessions for us, we all will feel more empowered and have a great direction how to work towards like Manorma also said, working for women in rural areas. So thank you so much once again. Thank you.
Well, Shafali, you need to use her in Noida, Delhi, whatever way. And I can tell you that Gurmeet is very passionate, mad woman to contribute, and contribute. On behalf of Global Talent Company and on behalf of Women Power, hashtag Women Power, a global movement, 100,000 women to be on this platform by 2021 and 1 million women on this platform by 2024. And irrespective of caste, creed, nationality, religion, and color. And my first woman in power is Dr. Kiran Bedi, with whom we start this entire concept. Ladies and gentlemen, and thank you so much for joining and being part of us. I could not take more questions. There are more questions on the Facebook. I would like to say, Gurmeet, on the core of my heart, thank you a lot. My folded hands, we together will certainly make difference in terms of women, gender equality, respectability for women, and giving women more and more opportunities to excel. And your two major areas which I see where you can contribute to this moment is, financial capability, how to become capable financially so far as women are concerned. Because the moment you make, like she said, when you educate a woman, you are educating the entire family. When you educate a man, you are educating only DK Bakshi, only one man. It's not like that. Anyhow, but what I'm trying to say is that we need to educate on the financial part of it, which is your key strength, key capability. In any case, we will be utilizing you for the United Nations various projects, as well as into the women power, because we will soon have United Nations part of us into this entire concept around the world. And people like Anshul, people like Manorma, people like Jennifer in Malaysia, people like Melanie in Spain, people like Angie in, in Thailand, people like Carolina in Singapore, people like Sunny Slaughter in USA, people like Claire in England, people like Minaw in Lebanon, people like Candice Mama in Cape Town, people like Honey in in place called Durban, people like Farooq in Farooq Unijada in Afghanistan, and many people who are part of this movement. We will certainly try to utilize whatever best we can. From the core of my heart, Gurmeet, salutes to you. Thanks for your contribution. Thank you, everyone, whosoever has joined and made this program successful. It will be on YouTube, and you can keep on watching. You can keep on commenting, like, and share with the people. Gurmeet,
Thank
good
you,
night.
DK.
Core of my heart, I am really grateful to you, and
Thank you.
we'll meet up soon and after Diwali and take it forward, because I am going on a mission, flying to Jammu, meeting the governor of J&K with a delegation wherein we are talking about, Global Kashmiri Pandit Business Foundation getting FDIs into J&K from NRIs of Kashmiri Pandits. You know what has happened to their community. So I'm flying to Jammu and coming back, and then Diwali. Happy Diwali to everybody. And
Thank you.
we will meet up after Diwali. Thank
So
you
all
very
the
much.
best for your endeavor.
Good luck and all the best. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.